And now, from approximately coast to coast, it's the Bob and Ray Radio Show.
And hi, everybody.
Hi, it's good to be back again with you all.
Paul, that was a neat little fancy, what do you call that you put on that, yeah.
Call that a little Allegro.
That's an Allegro.
And a cadenza.
Never knew what that was.
Yeah, Chinese cadenza.
We have a lot of good features today, and we have a new sponsor for Tippy the Wonderdog.
Oh, I heard that during the rehearsal.
Yes, well, we're going to hear it all right now.
All right.
And now the Monongahela Metal Foundry, maker of high-quality steel ingots for home and industry, presents another thrilling tale of adventure starring Tippy the Wonderdog. As we look in on the isolated cabin of Grandpa Witherspoon today, we find that Gramps is curled up on his cot in a state of deep melancholy. Meantime, little Jasper stands in the front window, staring out at the bleak winter rain. Suddenly, the boy turns and speaks.
There's no need for you to lie there in a state of deep melancholy, Gramps. Tippy will be home any minute now with the videotape you sent him down to the village to rent.
Well, consarn it all, what's taken that fool dog of yours so long? You should know that nothing snaps me out of one of these depressions except a Marx Brothers movie. I could sink into a coma before he gets back with that VCR of A Day at the Races.
Oh, you don't need to worry about becoming a terminal case, Gramps. I'm sure Tippy's close at hand right now, running lickety-split all the way. He's the noblest, the smartest dog in the whole wide world.
Well, consarn it all. How could he be running lickety-split all the way when he's been gone since last Wednesday afternoon?
Well, you know how it is at the VCR rental store, Gramps. They never know whether to put the Marx Brothers in the comedy or the classic section. So Tippy probably had to hunt. But he's the devotedest, the smartest. Wait, I think I see him coming down the path. Here, Tippy, Tippy, Tippy! Tippy!
Well, consarn it all, boy. Put the tape in the VCR. I got the blues something fierce.
Sorry, Gramps. That wasn't Tippy I saw with your rental tape out there. It was just the Finnegan's Airedale headed home with a record album of the greatest hits of the Osmond brothers.
Consarn it all, every other dog in the neighborhood can be trusted to bring joy into its master's life, but that fool Tippy has probably just crawled into a hollow log someplace to keep dry until the rain stops.
Aw, golly, Gramps, you're always accusing Tippy of putting his own personal comfort ahead of our well-being. That's just not his style. He's the dandiest, the smart... Hold on! I see him out there now. Here, Tippy, Tippy, Tippy!
Consarn it all, where's my Marx Brothers movie? I need a hearty chuckle in the worst way.
I know, Gramps, but that wasn't Tippy after all. It was just the puppy that hangs around the Markford place. He was running up that way with some stereopticon slides of the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair.
Consarn it all, that little mixed breed can't be more than a month old, but he can already be sent to fetch entertainment items to amuse the whole family. He's nothing like that fool Tippy.
Oh, Gramps, you always go wacko and say mean things about Tippy when you get depressed, but deep inside, you know he's the faithfulest, the smartest... Oh, wait! I see him for sure now, galloping at full tilt to rescue from the jaws of melancholy. Come in, Tippy. That's a good boy.
Consarn it all, don't just stand there letting the fool dog shake rainwater all over my videotape. Put it on the VCR. And move right up to the part where Chico tries to sell Groucho a racing form.
You can't quite do that, Gramps. The tape Tippy brought back is Jane Fonda's workout program.
Consarn it all. I hope I pull through just so I can kill that fool dog with my bare hands.
No. Wait, Gramps. Don't you understand what Tippy's done?
What?
He must have heard about that recent article in the Journal of Medicine that told how mental depression is often caused by physical inactivity. So he brought home the workout tape to help you achieve a lasting cure, rather than just, temporary relief. Boy, oh boy. Didn't I tell you, Gramps, that Tippy's the keenest, the smartest dog in the whole wide world?
Today's thrilling story has been brought to you by the Monongahela Metal Foundry, maker of fine steel ingots for home and factory use. Right now, your neighborhood metals fabricator is featuring a handy gift pack of 3 shiny Monongahela ingots in a lovely pastel-colored carton. It makes the perfect treasured present for birthdays, anniversaries, or any special occasion that calls for an expression of your deepest feelings. Remember, nothing says I love you like a gift pack of steel ingots from the Monongahela Metal Foundry. So order several by phone or in person today. And join us again soon for another breathtaking story of adventure starring Tippy the Wonderdog.
Say, friends, are you tired of following the same dull routine day after day, month after month, perhaps even week in and week out?
Haven't you often wished you could just chuck it all and take an ocean cruise to some far-off exotic place?
Of course you have, but like thousands of others, you've probably been postponing that dream vacation until you can save up enough money to afford one of the luxury cruises offered by a legitimate steamship line.
Well, now you need wait no longer, neighbors, thanks to a special get-acquainted offer being made to new clients only by the Bob and Ray Travel Agency.
And here's the best news of all. You're bound to qualify as a new client because the Bob and Ray Travel Agency just opened for business around 11 o'clock this morning. So obviously, we have no old clients.
He speaks true, friends. This opportunity is for you, and if you act quickly, you can soon be on the high seas, beginning your glorious 3-week cruise all the way around the end of Long Island.
You heard right, pilgrims. You won't merely be sailing up and down one side of Long Island, but all the way around for 3 unforgettable weeks. And your home away from home will be a stateroom aboard the luxurious seagoing vessel Star of Montauk Point.
You'll enjoy many hours of relaxation as your ship rides at anchor far out in the Atlantic while its cargo of garbage is being dumped overboard.
And best of all, there'll be those fun-filled days ashore as you dock at such distant ports of call as Glen Cove, East Hampton, and even mysterious Far Rockaway.
You'll have ample time to shop for souvenirs in the colorful native bazaars of all those intriguing cities. There may even be overnight stops in some of them as your ship takes on a cargo of coffee grounds, eggshells, and other types of exotic garbage that is native to the area.
Back out to sea once again. You'll enjoy taking your meals at the very same table with the salty members of the crew.
That's right, friends. There's never any artificial segregating of passengers and crew members aboard the Star of Montauk Point. You'll mingle naturally on deck, perhaps even be lucky enough to draw a crewman for a roommate in your luxurious stateroom.
And those colorful crew members don't just provide companionship during the long days at sea either. Most of them are also members of the ship's orchestra that plays for your dancing pleasure every evening.
Now just think of the touch of romance certain to be added to your trip as you waltz through the kitchen and around the dining table to the strains of your favorite melodies. And each tune is rendered by Big Dominic on harmonica, Freddie the Gimp on tissue paper and comb, and Captain Mizvinsky himself on the 2-octave musical saw.
Now, naturally, you'd expect to spend well over $1,000 for a 3-week cruise like this with luxury accommodations. But you're in for a pleasant surprise when you deal with the Bob and Ray Travel Agency, where we always have your pocketbook in mind.
Oh, how true. Prices, including our modest fee, are amazingly low when you sail aboard the Star of Montauk Point. A private hammock in your very own stateroom, shared with 6 other travelers, is only $295 for the entire 3-week voyage.
Now, that amazingly low price includes all meals and even a free uniform to wear while you put in your daily stint firing the ship's furnace. And if you volunteer to spend more than your required 6 hours a day in the furnace room, the entire cruise may cost even less than $295.
Naturally, those money-saving rates are guaranteed only to members of the Seafarers Union. But even if you're just a white-collar worker or a housewife who's never stoked a ship's furnace, you need pay no more than $295.
Assuming you're a licensed radio operator or a qualified navigation expert.
Right. Now, of course, that $295 is payable in advance, and you will be subject to the laws regarding mutiny on the high seas if you're dissatisfied with your cruise for any reason. But otherwise, it's all luxury living at a bargain basement price.
We should mention, however, that passenger facilities aboard the Star of Montauk Point are limited. So better make that reservation for the next sailing today.
Yes, delay can only cause disappointment, so get that reservation in the mail right now, along with your voluntary enlistment papers, proof of citizenship, and a medical release from your doctor stating that you're fit to perform manual labor.
And we'd suggest using special delivery mail to get that material to us as quickly as possible. And the address to send it for that vacation of a lifetime is Bob and Ray, in care of Titanic Cruise Offer, New York, New York.
That address again, Bob and Ray, Titanic Cruise Offer, New York, New York. Thank you. Well, that brings us to the high point, another one of today's show. In just a moment, we'll be playing another of our Bob and Ray mystery tunes. And the first listener who calls in with the correct title will win our giant cash jackpot, which now totals $27.
That's right, friends. Our last contest failed to produce a winner, so our jackpot has grown to $27. Truly an astounding figure, but cash is only part of what you can win. Right, Bob?
All right, you are. We're now negotiating with several airlines, and if those efforts pan out, our lucky caller will also win either a week's vacation in Tahiti or one evening in Minneapolis. Also, there may be a handsome sundial from a leading mail-order company if that item remains overstocked at the end of this month.
At last, but far from least, a 10-speed racing bike, assuming we get a positive reply from one of the bicycle companies we've contacted. That's a jackpot that could be worth almost $3,000, although it probably won't run that high.
However, we're hoping for the best. So listen closely and then become the first person to call us with the title of this tune.
Well, I don't know what's causing everyone to dawdle around. I could have named it easily by now.
Well, of course, you don't have to take time to dial the call. You're already here.
Well, it's true. Also, I know our own phone number, which we neglected to announce, so it may take time for others to look that up.
Oh. What do you know? Apparently someone had the initiative to hunt for us. Let's see if we have a winner. Hello?
Hello, Harold.
No, I'm sorry. You reached the wrong number, I guess.
Oh, is this area code 313-555-0847?
No, that's not our number, and it's the wrong area code, too.
Oh, gee, I hate to be charged for a call when I didn't reach my party. Will you hold while I get the operator back?
Well, I can't do that. This is a radio studio. We're trying to use this phone to conduct our big mystery tune contest. We're on the air.
You having a contest?
Yes, yeah. Now, hang up so one of our contestants can get through, okay?
Well, I'm already here. Why can't I be in your contest?
Have you been listening to the Bob and Ray show on your radio?
Recently, you mean?
Yes, recently, within the last couple of minutes.
Oh, I think I heard it once back in the 60s, but I didn't care much for it.
Well, I'm afraid you couldn't possibly guess the title of the mystery tune we just played since you didn't hear it.
Well, I might. There are only a certain number of possibilities, and most of those can be weeded out by the process of elimination. So why not give me a shot at it?
Well, it seems ridiculous. Well, you were the first caller, though. I guess there's no other way to get rid of you.
That's right. So let me thank you. You probably wouldn't play anything classical because most people don't know the names of those things. And a religious hymn might offend somebody if they were of a different denomination. So I figure that's out.
Well, this is beginning to sound like a very time-consuming thing you're getting into here.
It isn't. I'm almost there. It couldn't be Chinese music because that stuff all sounds alike to us. And a lot of the songs that were popular before 1890 were never recorded. So that means the tune you just played must have been Home on the Range, either that or Lulu's Back in Town.
No, I'm sorry, it wasn't either one of those.
Well, then it must have been something you birds wrote yourselves because there aren't any other possibilities. So now will you hold the phone while I try to get the operator back?
No, in fact, I'm not even sure this would still be considered a wrong number now that we've carried on a long conversation.
Gee, first you won't give me the prize, and now you won't help me get my money back from this payphone. You really know how to hurt a guy.
Well, thanks, so do you. But your mistake today means that our giant jackpot will be all the way up to $30 next time when we again search for a lucky caller who can identify our Bob and Ray mystery tune. So be with us.
Come with us now as we again return to Garish Summit and its endless stories of intrigue among the socially prominent. There, in stately splendor, far removed from the squalid village below, they fight their petty battles over power and money. As our action resumes, Lloyd, the gardener, is laboring to transplant a 40-foot eucalyptus tree on the south lawn of Murchfield Manor. Suddenly, the face of a mysterious stranger appears through the hedgerow nearby. After a moment, the intruder speaks.
Hey, mister, can I come in and get my ball, or will you turn the dogs on me?
We don't have a dog, kid. Miss Agatha hates them because they eat a lot, and they never get a job. And you can't even use them as a tax write-off.
Yeah, it's hard to depreciate a household pet. Why are you digging around the roots of that tree with a spoon, mister?
Now, Master Rodney told me to transplant it so it would shade his bedroom, but Miss Agatha's waiting for the price of shovels to come down before she'll buy me one.
Gee, that's pretty chintzy for a dame with $5 billion.
Yeah, the whole family is wacko. Nobody likes them except Wilfred, the butler. He's in town right now testifying at Master Caldwell's trial for embezzlement. And if I know that little toady Wilfred, he'll say whatever he has to keep Caldwell out of the big house. I can just hear him chirping his song right now.
I've been in the service of the Murchfield family for 32 years, and I've found each of them to be upstanding, almost to the point of being likable at times.
Have you ever seen anything in the behavior of the defendant, Caldwell Murchfield, to indicate that he was capable of committing grand theft, the crime for which he's charged?
Oh, no, indeed. Not Master Caldwell. Master Caldwell is always quite proper, except on Friday when he sneaks into my room and steals my pay envelope.
The defendant, who's a millionaire, steals your weekly paycheck?
It's not a paycheck, sir. I'm paid in cash. Master Caldwell advised that method in case the banks all fail over the weekend. He gives me those bits of financial advice from time to time, chiefly so I can save up to visit my ailing mumsy in Britain.
I see.
Master Caldwell has even taken over my life savings to manage for me. He's investing it at the racetrack, so I'll soon have enough to go see Mum.
I wouldn't think a trip to England would take your life savings.
It may not, thanks to Master Caldwell. He's made special arrangement for me to fly there for $47.50. Somehow involves a cardboard container with air holes. Master Caldwell set it up for me.
It's interesting that you have such a high opinion of Caldwell Murchfield. Personally, I think your testimony is almost as sure as conviction on charges of embezzling a fortune from the Murchfield Lead Company. Your Honor, the prosecution rests.
I wish you wouldn't rant at me for my handling of Caldwell's case, Agatha. After all, you were the one who filed charges against him when you found he'd juggled the books.
I just wanted to get him extradited back to this country so the whole family could be together again, Attorney Pardue. I thought a smart lawyer could help him beat the rap easily.
Well, I appreciate your confidence, and I feel...
Fortunately, you took over his defense before I could find a smart lawyer.
Well, you can rest assured I'll appeal if he's convicted, Agatha. I've had a great deal of experience appealing my client's convictions.
Bowden, going through normal channels like that may be all right for the middle class, but I have the resources to buy a fall guy who'll take the rap while my son goes free. And as my lawyer, it's your job to find a patsy and then plant the evidence against him.
Can Agatha use her billions to send an innocent man to prison for the crime Caldwell committed? Can Wilfred hope to keep his job after his indiscreet courtroom testimony? And what about the small boy next door who was never known to exist before this episode? Perhaps we'll learn more next time when we hear the judge say,
Finding this patsy puts a whole new light on the case, Mr. Pardue.
That's in our next exciting visit to Garish Summit.
Now, as a public service paid for by the National Radish Growers Institute, we present another educational session with the idol of the nation's youngsters, Mr. Science. As we look in on the modern, well-equipped laboratory today, we see that little Jimmy Schwab is just arriving to watch Mr. Science perform his latest fascinating experiment.
Oh, come right in, Jimmy. You're just in time to watch me perform my latest fascinating experiment.
Oh, hot diggity dog, Mr. Science. I always find myself fascinated by your fascinating experiments. What's on the docket for today?
Well, today, Jimmy, we're going to learn how to operate an ordinary siphon.
Great jumping catfish, Mr. Science. What's an ordinary siphon?
Well, it's the device that employs the properties of a vacuum on liquids to make them flow counter to the normal laws of gravity.
Gee willikers, Mr. Science. I'm almost sorry I asked. At least I didn't have a headache from hearing all your big words so long as I was totally ignorant about the subject.
Well, don't you worry, Jimmy. You'll realize that it's actually quite simple after you've witnessed today's experiment. Now, to demonstrate how a siphon works, we'll use this simple piece of laboratory equipment.
Holy mackerel, Mr. Science. That's really a neat-looking piece of laboratory equipment. Does it have a technical name?
Yes, it does, lad. This is called a rubber hose.
A rubber hose? Leapin' lizards. Wait till I tell the bigger kids who hang around the bowling alley I've seen one of those. I'll bet they'll stop putting bowler's resin all over my forehead to make it draw flies.
Yes, I'm sure you'll stop being subjected to pranks by the older children after you've displayed your newfound knowledge. But just try to contain your enthusiasm so we can go on with the experiment, son.
Glorioski, Mr. Science. You mean there's more to it than just looking at a rubber hose?
Oh, yes, Jimmy. The hose is just one part of our siphon. We also need these two metal pans. We're going to put one of them here on the workbench and the other down here on this stool. And then we're going to use the rubber hose as a siphon to make water run uphill from the lower pan to the upper one.
Great jumping Jehoshaphat, Mr. Science. I don't believe that's humanly possible.
Well, I know it seems miraculous, Jimmy, but it's creating a vacuum within the rubber hose that does the trick. So first, I'll put one end of the hose in the lower pan like this. Now, I'll draw on the hose as if it were an ordinary soda straw to get the air out and start the liquid flowing. Now, I want you to watch what happens when I put the other end of the hose in the pan up on the bench.
Lord love a duck, Mr. Science. The water is actually running uphill through the hose from the lower pan to the higher one. What great magic is this you've worked to fool a simple child like me?
Well, this isn't magic at all, son. The siphon merely proves the old axiom that nature abhors a vacuum. When I drew the air out of the hose, the vacuum was immediately filled with water, even though it meant that liquid had to flow uphill.
Jiminy Christmas. I'll bet I could even get the bubbly stuff in this bowl on the floor to flow up through the siphon right up to your workbench.
No, don't try doing that, Jimmy. That's a very volatile acid in that bowl, and it shouldn't be disturbed.
Well, I won't disturb it. I'll just make it flow through the hose by creating a vacuum.
No, stop it, boy. You cause a violent...
This session with Mr. Science has been brought to you as a public service by the National Radish Growers Institute. Today's broadcast was the last in our current series.
Now, here's an important message for parents from the makers of Einbinder flypaper.
Friends, have you ever stopped to think what the results might be if your young child happened to eat a strip of flypaper he's found lying around the house?
Well, we'd hate to comment on the possible tragic results if you buy cheap flypaper that's been made in unsanitary factories.
But there's never a cause for concern about the health of your little ones when you use genuine Einbinder.
Our plant is spotlessly clean, and our flypaper glue is made from dead horses that have been thoroughly scrubbed for your children's protection.
So never settle for anything less than Einbinder flypaper, the brand you've gradually grown to trust over the course of 3 generations. Once again, our scouts have been searching the railroad and bus terminals for victims of misfortune who could use a helping hand from our generous Bob and Ray organization. Bob, I assume that pathetic figure there beside you is our first guest today.
Yes, that's right, Ray. This is Mr. Waldo Pruner of Newark, Delaware. And Mr. Pruner, I understand you've met with tragedy in trying to make your dream of a lifetime come true.
Yes. In fact, I don't think I can talk about it on the air. I just get too emotional.
Well, we're all your friends here, Mr. Pruner. Just take your time and tell us all about it.
Well, okay, I'll try.
Speak up.
You see, my ambition of a lifetime was to walk from coast to coast and have my picture taken in front of every state capitol building wearing a fancy Chinese kimono. You know, the kind with the dragon embroidered on the back and all that.
Yes, I know the type you mean. But why did you want to have your picture taken in front of every state capitol wearing one of those?
Well, that gets into a whole different thing, and it really has nothing to do with my tragic story. The tragic part is that I started out in Alaska about 10 months ago, and I picked a route that would have me walking through all the state capitals. Now I'm back here on the East Coast with only Trenton, New Jersey, and Dover, Delaware yet to go.
Well, then it sounds as if you're right on the threshold of making your dream come true. What's the problem, sir?
Well, I don't know how I could have done it. I thought I had, everything planned out all right, carefully, but somehow I went right around Wyoming, and it's just made the whole thing pointless.
Well, I know our listeners can all appreciate the sorrow you're feeling at this moment, sir, but to cheer you up, our generous Bob and Ray organization wants you to have this lovely garden hose complete with nozzle. It's from Harvey's of Ames, Iowa.
Gee, thanks a lot. You people sure know how to make life seem worth living again.
And I think that's all the time we have. You other folks will be put up at the Bob and Ray Hotel and appearing on one of our future shows.
Well, I can't stay at the hotel. I'm sorry.
Can you all stay? How about you, sir?
No, I can't do it.
Uh-huh.
No.
Well, we'll try to find some
Sorry,
other
buddy.
victims of misfortune to speak with next time. But I see Paul is about to play Mention My Name in Sheboygan. And that's Paul Taubman, I mean. And that means another Bob and Ray show is over.
I guess so. Say, listen, the speaking voice of Paul Taubman was that of Webley Webster. Larry Josephson developed and produced the show for the Radio Foundation, and Larry played himself. Laz Howell was associate producer.
Part of the sound effects man was performed by Al Schaefer. They'll all be with us for the next program, along with technical director David Glasser, engineering assistants Marty Newman, Miles Smith, and Jay Newland, and production assistants Bill O'Neill and Charles Whitson.
All of whom, incidentally, were recreating the parts they played in last week's show. It was recorded at Howard Schwartz Studios in New York City, where the part of Mr. Schwartz was impersonated.
Funding provided by a major grant from the National Endowment for the Arts, with additional funding from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting through NPR's Satellite Development Fund and from public radio stations.
Now, this is Ray Goulding reminding you to write if you get work.
Bob Elliott reminding you to hang by your thumbs.
For a free picture of Bob and Ray, send a stamped self-addressed envelope to Bob and Ray Picture, Box 5000 GPO, New York 10116. Again, send a stamped self-addressed envelope to Bob and Ray Picture, Box 5000 GPO, New York 10116. We regret that we cannot send a picture without a stamped self-addressed envelope. This program was independently produced by the Radio Foundation.